taking over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. All I remember at the Super Bowl show, Carver High, was I yelled right side like 40 times. And I think Donnie couldn't figure out why I was yelling right side. I think that is a great nickname, and that's why I was yelling it. I think I may have flustered him because I yelled it so many times in the middle of the show live on television. And I was not doing it to upset him or anyone else. I just think it's a great nickname, like yours, Carver High. Legendary stuff. But I yelled it so many times, it turns out they have now determined that because I yelled it so many times, that's why everyone got COVID at the event.
That was the source, huh? That was
that was me.
That was patient zero there.
They blame me, so I'm always to blame for everything around here. So it was clearly when I yelled right side 30 times, and it was not the people that were sneezing and coughing all over me. It was myself. My bad intentions got everyone sick, and it was by yelling right side 30 times. I always yell right side.
Nice job by you. You did that to everybody. Now everybody hates you, even more than they already did.
They do hate me. It's unbelievable, the turn of events around here.
I have to finish up a couple things from last night before we move on to tonight's NBA games. I said to you yesterday, these guys, these legends, they love coming into the Garden. They love playing on the big stage at Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous. Oh, yeah. Curry was at it again last night. 31. He hit 8 threes. Warriors beat the Knicks 110-99. He was hitting them from way downtown on TNT.
Warriors with the ball here. Looking up top. Payton the catch. Hart with a deflection. Curry lets it fly and hits number 6 from deep range.
Now, I'm sure that we welcome our radio affiliate, Sirius XM Channel 159, Sports Byline, and their radio affiliates. Deepak holding it down for us in the city by the bay. I'm sure Morency's right. He usually is. But I am not going anywhere near the Toronto Raptors ever in a bet against the Warriors. No. And I don't care where he's from. I don't care where he grew up. I don't care if he played 5 nights in a row. I don't care if there's a tornado. I am betting on the Dubs tonight against Toronto, and even if I lose, I'll bet on them the next night, too, if they're playing Toronto. Like, honestly, Toronto's awful. And if they beat them tonight, I'll keel over, honestly. I mean, I hit them last night against the Knicks. The Knicks were thin. They got their ass beat, right? I mean, they got their ass beat against the Pelicans. You're telling me that crappy Toronto team's going to beat them? Are you betting on Toronto?
I don't believe that either.
Are you betting on Toronto tonight?
I'm not betting on Toronto. And I usually like the whole sitting on the tarmac till 5 a.m. stories. Like, I love that stuff. I eat that stuff up. But I'm not going to tonight.
Jordan rules.
And I've got some numbers for you about the Warriors on the road and for back-to-backs as well that I'll give you later.
Wait a minute. Didn't we have last night another incident where we said, Paolo Banchero's sick. He's ill.
Yeah.
And I was like,
he played.
Give me the magic.
He played. I'm tired of the illnesses. We're putting these guys on the injury report for the sniffles. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, it's
most
ridiculous.
of the time they play. And
they play great.
It makes it so difficult to cap these games. Here's Curry, before we move on, talking about how much he loves playing at the Garden.
It's always fun. Like, this is a special place. I always talk about the basketball history that's happened here. I've had some good nights here. 2 years ago was special. So there's just a different energy every time you come into the city, into the building. I think it really honestly helped us in that 20-4 start just because we were kind of buzzing and flying around and, wanted to take advantage of our one night that we come out here.
Well, it's simple. The Knicks have their 1 year where they did it and never again, and they are always a failure. But I'll say this. A, it's by far the best building in sports. B, it's the greatest city in the world, even if you hate it. Even if you hate being here, even if you hate living here, even if you hate the traffic, the stress, congestion pricing, all the idiots, all the violence, all the murders, all the beatings and rapes and everything else, it's the greatest city in the world. Every player that comes here wants to go off when they play at the world's most famous. It's just that simple. We're the best, and you aren't. That's it. We're better than you. We are better than you. Know it. You can talk all about your city, where you live. You think you got this and that. How about the guy trying to sell me Omaha? Christ, that's where you go when you die.
Omaha.
Are you kidding me? Omaha, I want to be hit by a combine and chewed up like a wood chipper. Are you kidding me? I'd rather go to Hell's Kitchen than Omaha. Thank you. I lived in Hell's Kitchen.
The Bucks beat the Hornets 111-99. What were they laying? 11.5, right? Bucks were laying 11.5 in that game. Cover. Magic did beat the Jazz, as you said, 115-107. The Nets beat up the Hawks. Hawks are going to be real ugly without Trae Young as they lose by 25, almost 30 to the Nets of all teams. The Spurs beat the Thunder 132-118. What a night for Wembanyama. 28, 13 boards, 7 dimes, 5 blocks. I'm still going. The dude hit 5 threes as well, and with the game on the line late, stuffed Holmgren on Bally Sports San Antonio.
28 for Victor Wembanyama. Holmgren trying to answer. He is stuffed and taken away. Places going bananas.
So I picked 2 of the worst teams in the NBA, the Nets and the Spurs last night, hit them both. I gave you 9 NBA plays, hit 6 of them, got 1 push. I gave you 12 hockey games, hit 9 of them. I'm sorry. I hate to talk about all the money I make everyone around here. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. I shouldn't get sidetracked like that on the betting network.
You should not get sidetracked like that. What a night for Wembanyama. And the Suns beat the Rockets 110-105, but they did not cover, Scotty. No cover for Phoenix last night, which is always a fail, that's for sure. All right, we got a lot of games tonight. Let's start them, and then we'll finish them up after the break. We'll begin in Detroit, where the Cavaliers and the Pistons are going to get together. Now, Donovan Mitchell questionable here, so keep an eye on that here a few hours before the game. But as of right now, Cavs minus 8.5, 221.5 is the total.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I cannot go anywhere near the Pistons. I think the Cavaliers are the take and the buy. They're better. It's that simple. They're, too much for them.
Indeed.
I don't care what the Pistons have. I'll say this. It might be risky in the sense that they have been playing better of late and been getting screwed by the NBA refs. They've been getting screwed. Remember, they got screwed at the Garden.
Yes.
Then the next night they actually won. So that might be a sucker play at 8.5. I didn't bet it. But if I did, I'd probably still bet Cleveland.
We will come back and I will give you the rest of the slate, including, as we mentioned, the Warriors who are in Toronto, Dallas, in Boston tonight against the Celtics. Also, Wizards, a tough back-to-back. In L.A. last night for the Lakers, they got the Clippers tonight in L.A., so I'll give you the full slate when we come back.
They're going to get their ass beat tonight because they played overtime last night, and they play about 1 good game a month, and that was last night. So tonight it's bend over KY jelly night.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watched the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
The Lakers lose by double digits last night on the road in Phoenix against the Suns. The Suns get their first victory following the All-Star break, winning by 10 in covering.
Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in that game. LeBron James played 37 minutes in a loss. This is the same thing. It's like repeating this over and over and over. Sure, do you want to win these basketball games? Yes, but you sort of say to yourself, all right, at what we have?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Carver High. We continue on with the rest of the rack in the NBA tonight.
Yeah, so we mentioned that Charlotte lost at home last night to the Bucks. They have a back-to-back. They hit the streets. They're going to Philadelphia to take on the Sixers. Sixers minus 11.5. 214.5 is the total in this one. Looks like everybody should be there. I see Grant Williams is probable for Charlotte. KJ Martin and Kelly Oubre questionable for the Sixers. Everyone else good to go.
Who's Grant Williams going to get into a fight with tonight? Look,
Yes.
They stink. And I think this is actually a game that Harris and Maxey can expect to run away with. I'll lay it here. I think Philly gets an easy one tonight. We had talked about this ad nauseum, how, they're tumbling in the standings and no JoJo, and they're going to end up 13th in the East. No, they're not. And here's the reason why. Tonight is a perfect example of why they won't, because they're going to whack Charlotte.
Yeah, when they get games like this, it's absolute must-haves. I mean, forget the spread. Obviously, we care about the spread. But in that locker room for them, they need to win these games. When they play the Hornets, when they play the Raptors, when they play these bad teams, they have to take advantage. Because when they play the good ones, Scotty, without Embiid, they're going to be in trouble. So they're going to have to be able to take advantage in spots like this. Dallas is in Boston tonight against the Celtics. We have a good one here. Celtics minus 9.5. 237.5 is the total. Now, Luka was added to the report with an ankle injury. He's questionable, but I think you know, Scotty, Luka going to be out there tonight in Boston against the C's.
And they're looking for 10 in a row, and they'll get it. Covering that spread is another story. I think, believe it or not, I think Dallas has a shot at that 9. But what I did was this morning I bet the over 236.5 that moved to 237.5. I think these teams are dynamic scoring teams and up and down teams. And I went over to Rainbow on this puppy. But, I'll add that 9 as I'll take a shot with it. They don't lose at home. They don't lose, period. They're going to win 10 in a row. I actually was looking at them the other night, and I thought to myself, they're going to win the NBA championship this year. That's what they're going to do. They're going to win it all. They lost. They lost last year, didn't make it. And then the Heat go. I think that ends this year. I think they go, and I think they actually win it. I think they're the best team in the NBA.
I agree. I think Porzingis staying healthy is very key to them. I think that the level he puts them at when he's out there, he's such a great third piece to go with Tatum and Brown. He's a must-have, and if they're without him, it could be like the last few years for them. They need to keep Porzingis healthy and out there in April and May. The Warriors, as we mentioned, are in Toronto tonight. Warriors are favorites here, Scotty, -2.5. 237.5 is the total. I know Gabe gave you all the stuff. They were in the plane until 5 a.m., got in super late, yada, yada, yada. Everybody looks good to go on both sides here. That's for sure. So, listen, they're not sitting anybody. They're gonna be full throttle here on the second night of a back-to-back.
Yeah, I am. I'm not afraid here. 2.5, are you kidding me? I mean, it's saying all this talk of, they're playing and everything else. Look, I'm on the Dubs. Not only that, I'll go over on that game too, because if Toronto has a shot at all, they're going to have to score a lot, because if they don't, they're going to get whacked.
And here's another thing for you. Sometimes I give you numbers to make you think. This one goes along with what you're doing. The Warriors are 19-8 ATS on the road. That is the best record in the NBA against the spread on the road, and they are also 5-2 against the spread on the second night of a back-to-back on the road. So that's pretty good. We'll make that 6-2 tonight, hopefully, in Toronto, and add to that total for the Dubs. Next, Portland is in Memphis tonight. This is your hairdryer city game of the night. Portland didn't win a game the entire month of February. They are getting 1.5. 207.5 is the total, which I think I saw a note this morning, Scotty. That is the lowest total in an NBA game this season.
Yeah, look, I bet this game this morning, and I got it at Memphis -1, believe it or not. I don't know what you just said, if it's changed, but they're at home.
1.5.
Look, they're at home. Portland's awful, and I don't care, Barnes or otherwise. I'll take Jack Jr., I'll take, Bane, I'll take the Grizzlies. They're bound, every squirrel gets one. I'll take them tonight.
The Kings are in Minnesota. Sacramento on the streets to Minneapolis. Right now, T-Wolves -6.5. This is at 224.5 is the total. I do see De'Aaron Fox is questionable. I see Anthony Edwards is questionable. But Edwards has become one of those guys. They constantly have him listed as questionable, but yet he always plays.
Okay, so I bet, and this game, I bet the over. I got it at 223.5 this morning in Minneapolis. I like them both. I think they both score a lot. I heard, they both, they're going to play D. I'm like, no, they aren't. This is an up and down game. I think this is a wild game with Fox and company and with Ann Edwards. And going back to that Sixers-Hornets game, I also bet the over in that thing. That number was a joke. It moved down to, it was at 213 and a hook this morning. And I think Philly and believe it or not, and the Hornets will go over that number, because the Hornets have actually been scoring. They've been playing. Bridges has been putting up big numbers. So I bet the over in that as well. And I told you earlier, I bet the over in that Mavs-Celtics game.
Second leg of a home and home here. The Pacers and the Pelicans played in Indiana, of course, on Wednesday night, Scotty. The Pacers beat them and got the cover. Now they will flip to Bourbon Street. Pelicans -5.5, 238.5 the total.
Yeah, listen, this is so hard for me, this game, because I like Brandon Ingram, and McCollum, he hasn't been playing. He was sitting the other night when they beat the Knicks, right? So it was like Zion and Ingram. I actually think the Pacers have a shot to win this game outright in New Orleans tonight, getting that piece. What is it, 5.5?
Yes.
I'll take a stab at that 5.5. I think the Pacers are legitimately a problem for the Pelicans tonight, and I think they can beat them.
The late night TV game is actually a late start in Chicago. That'll be a 9 local tip Central Time. Bucks and the Bulls getting together. Bucks, of course, played last night in Charlotte. -4.5 for them on the road. 222.5 the total.
Well, I bet this. I like the Bucks. They've won every game since the All-Star break. I think they're 4-0, going for 5-0, and I just think they're flat out better than the Bulls. I think you deal with Vuce and DeRozan and Cody White, and that's it. And I don't see how. Vucevic can't guard Antetokounmpo to save his ass. He's too fast. So I just think that Dame and Greek Freak will win this game one way or the other, come hell or high water.
And finally, we have another late-night game in Los Angeles. The Wizards lost in overtime to the Lakers last night. They probably got a nice night's sleep over there at that Intercontinental, Scotty. Probably stayed on the 92nd floor. And now they return to the Crypto tonight where they get to take on the Clippers. Clippers minus 15.5, 238.5 the total.
Carver High, not a fan of the $30 bullet cocktails at the Intercontinental in the lobby bar. 30 per 3 fingers. Not a deal that he's interested in. But I'll tell you, a deal that I'm interested in is laying everything on the Clippers tonight to beat the Wizards' ass.
I could absolutely see that. I will give you this, though. Other side of the coin. I gave you one that goes with what you're doing. This one on the other side. Clippers as double-digit favorites this year. 2-6 against the spread as double-digit favorites. So it's a fat piece.
Thank God for John, because, didn't they tell me the other day that Arizona's won 5 in a row in Toronto? They never lose in Toronto, and I laid 1.5 and won money. Here's what I'm going to do, John. I'm going to tell you, the Clippers bent over at the Lakers' behest the other night in the fourth quarter. They're taking it all out on the Wizards tonight. They're going to win this game by 25, 30 points.
I'm with you. It's going to be a squash job tonight at the Crypto.
The Lakers lose by double digits last night on the road in Phoenix against the Suns. The Suns get their first victory following the All-Star break, winning by 10 in covering.
Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in that game. LeBron James played 37 minutes in a loss. This is the same thing. It's like repeating this over and over and over. Sure, you want to win these basketball games, yes, but you sort of say to yourself, all right, at what cost do we have?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
The first unanimous #1 team this season in the AP poll, which is the kiss of death.
True.
Right now, given what we've seen winning on the road in college basketball, it's a kiss of death to walk in there as the unanimous #1 team in the country. Everyone says you're awesome. Everyone's telling you how great you are. And you go up against a coach, a coach who has your number for the most part.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Guess what? Rock fight alert. Rock fight alert. Look at this Missouri-Tennessee score at the under 16. 1-0 Missouri. What is that?
Watched the entire Penguin game on Sunday. Been watching a lot of their games. I feel like we're seeing the end of the Empire. There's talk of them maybe trading some big names.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
If Tibbs can find a way to get the Knicks rolling again as everybody comes back, folks, they are going to shoot up the Eastern Conference standings. There are 33 wins. I think the Knicks have a chance to maybe, folks, ready? You think I'm crazy? They could get all the way to 2. It is not out of the question.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The Early Line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points
as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The brighter the lights, the bigger the stakes. Hunt or be hunted. Know your prey. This is a whole new jungle. This is The Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM.
All right, so BetMGM is at it again, giving away cash, giving away free money, just constantly helping the community, going above and beyond to help the citizenry. Use the bonus code SG150 and download the BetMGM mobile app and get the ball rolling, baby. Open an account in your name. $5 is all you need. Boom, you're in. Then place a $5 bet, standard odds on anything, win or lose. They're giving you $150 in bonus bets instantaneously in your account, and you're going to be Darcy Road of Love and Life off and rolling. So download the app on iOS or Android in the Play Store or go to BetMGM.com. You're going to love it. The BetMGM mobile app. And it's time for the Lion's Share with Coach James Young. I have to tell you, very excited. People need to know that tomorrow and Sunday at 1 to 3 Eastern, the shenanigans will begin with Betting Above the Rim with Ferrall and Coach Young, talking rack, college, and pro like no other, unequaled by our peers. Check us out, 1 to 3, entertaining, and we hit all the games. We go crazy, and we yell and scream, and we make fun of people, and we're really good at it. Tomorrow and Sunday, 1 to 3, Betting Above the Rim. By the way, Coach Young still, on an annual basis, does a video with several D1 stars where he actually still throws down one dunk per year annually for charity to show everyone that the 6'5" stilt can still grab the rim and put it down.
Yeah, I can put it down. The only problem is as you get to 47, 48, 49, I need the Bengay, the chiropractor. I need a little extra work done for to put the ball in the basket, but I can still do it a little bit.
Well, that's a lot like me. When I walk down the street, my hip gives out as though my leg's going to fall off my body. Same kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. We both move in slow motion.
So the guy told me in therapy, he said, Ferrall, the reason your hip keeps giving out is because you don't stretch enough. I said, okay, I'll go with that. So now I stretch at great length before I play. So tomorrow morning, as you know, I'm going back on the court to play, and I'm going to get there at 5:50, 10 to 6 in the morning to stretch for a half an hour before I try to play with these monsters. I have not played basketball in over 5.5 months since I died and went to hell. And I have to tell you, it was hot down there.
Hey, listen, man, you may be like Larry Bird. Remember Larry Bird? He used to stretch him out for like 3.5 hours before he got going. But something tells me Ferrall may not play a lot of defense tomorrow, but Ferrall's going to get buckets. I guarantee that. We're going to talk tomorrow 1 to 3 how Ferrall got a couple of shots off in the morning.
So I'm trying to sell the general public the idea that I'm not falling for the Toronto Raptors spread tonight north of the border against the Dubs. I don't care if they played last night. I don't care if their plane wouldn't start. I don't care if no one slept. I don't care if they didn't eat food. I am not buying that at all. Please tell me you're not buying that.
That they're going to beat the Warriors? Oh, God,
yeah.
No. No, in fact, I'll say that right now. That's one of my players in the Lions here today. It's the Warriors on the money line, minus 150. I'm going to just take them on the money line for all because the Warriors are starting to play. Now, listen, you're going to say, oh, they beat down the Knicks. The Knicks aren't that good. I don't care. They won 2 straight. They're looking better. I'm going to, instead of doing the minus 115 and minus 2.5, I'm going to just pay the extra juice, minus 150. Warriors on the road, they win. And I wouldn't be surprised if they won by 10 plus.
I think you're right, and I just don't like that price. So I'm laying the points, and I'm going straight for the throat. I said the only way that this is a game for bettors on the other side for me is if RJ and IQ get going and they play a high-tempo, high-speed tranny game where they score a lot and this game goes over and they turn it into a track meet.
Well, that's the only way to have a chance. But then you have to look at the other side. You got to look at the other side, a Golden State team in which, Steph has been Steph. Wiggins has had, he's coming back a little bit. He's playing better. Kuminga's been pretty good, although he's not been getting to his points prop as of late. And then all of a sudden, Clay, has found the fountain of youth coming off the bench. Clay's pissed off. So Clay getting you 16, whatever. And then CP3's been back too. So I think this team's got a lot to prove, and they're going to get better. And here's the thing, folks. Keep looking at the standings. Keep looking at the standings. Know that these teams, Ferrall, you notice and I notice, they don't want any part of the plan. At 27 losses, they're 2 behind in the loss column, and I expect possibly the New Orleans to lose tonight. So they're making their move here, Golden State, and they're making their move at the right time. Winners of 8 of their last 10 games.
I still think at this point, like if I were to put on the goggles, that they would be a play-in team unless they get magnificently hot and start jumping teams. Right now, to me, they're a play-in team. Great game tonight in Boston at the Garden. We know they've won 9 in a row to Celtics, but I'm with you. I took a risk on that 9 spot, and I also bet the over because I think these two teams are magnificent. And when Kyrie and Luka start pouring it in, then Tatum and Brown are going to start pouring it in, and White and the Zinger. And I think it's going to be a wild game tonight in Boston.
Yeah, it is going to be a wild game tonight in Boston. I really think, although they've been great for, I just think this is too many points to give a team that's very explosive offensively in Dallas. If you look at the fact that if you're Boston, you're probably going to have Holiday guard Luka. So that means Derek White, Kyrie. I know Kyrie went in there and burned all that sage, amongst other things he burned in the TD Bank Garden earlier today. I think too many points. Give me the Mavs plus the 9.5. I think they keep it close. I think you're right about the over. And Ferrall, if there's a team that can go into Boston and win, it actually could be Dallas, because if those two guards get hot, they can literally carry a team.
Does sage help with bad hips and heart attacks? Do you think I should be lighting sage or incense on the way to basketball in the morning and get pulled over by the popo for a freakishly wild smell coming out of my car?
I think, I would say maybe something else, but, you don't want that smell coming out of the car from the cops either. So
I'm not allowed to do that.
Yeah, anything that loosens up the hip and gets the heart to relax a little bit, just take it easy tomorrow. I need you at 1 p.m. Just take it easy tomorrow.
I'll be there at 1 p.m., Slick, and hopefully I'll have scoring updates. Let's look at the next one. I'm with you on this game as well. It's unbelievable. Great minds think alike. I'm on the Bucks tonight in the Windy City.
Listen, I know Chicago went and they beat Cleveland in overtime, but Cleveland was on a back-to-back off a crazy win. They had no emotion left in the game, and it's 4.5 for a Bucks team that's, be honest, folks, I'm going to give Doc his flowers. We know it's about the regular season. They have come out the second half really, really strong. Giannis is playing great. I've been playing his first quarter numbers every game he's been hitting at. I love Milwaukee. It was 3.5, it's up to 4.5. I think they win by 10 plus on the road at Chicago.
So, Andrew Nebhard. Let's see how many people in the audience know who that is. Anyone?
Bueller.
Anyone? Bueller? Anyone?
I'm going to go with Andrew Nebhard over 5.5 rebounds plus assists. Andrew Nebhard, who has been in the starting lineup and really is an underrated passer. And you never know with Halliburton how many minutes are going to play him. This guy plays in a 2-guard front. He can pass the ball, sneaky good rebounder. Over 5.5. I think he gets busy tonight. Nebhard, over 5.5 rebounds plus assists.
Looks like I'm going to have to call you tonight on the FaceTime, Coach, and go through the litany of college basketball top 25 games tomorrow and unranked games because of the pressure young Foster's Lager and Matty George, the ball carrier, have put on us to give them winners before tomorrow. We have to do it tonight. I've been ordered directly. I've been given a directive that we need to do picks tonight in the just bombardment of text messages that I've received from these young guns.
I'll tell you what, there's a ton of good games on. It starts right at noon with Florida and South Carolina way beyond for the second half. But how about this? We come on at 1 o'clock. Kansas, Baylor right off the jump. Illinois, Wisconsin. Wisconsin team that's falling down terribly. Arkansas, Kentucky at 1:30. Arizona, Oregon at 2. And then
Marquette, Creighton.
Marquette, Creighton. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If Marquette can find a way to win this game on the road in Omaha, you could be looking at 2 Big East teams with number 1 seeds. But a sneaky good game, 4 o'clock. South Florida. This guy, Abdul Rahim, has done as good of a job in the country that nobody's talking about. But South Florida may have to do more in order to get a win, even get a bid if they don't win their conference tournament.
Last week, we did 8 hours together on college and pro basketball. SportsGrid wasn't smart enough to leave us on tomorrow for 8 hours because we would have been on for the Tennessee-Bama game in Tuscaloosa, Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and Houston, Oklahoma, if they would have given us an 8-hour run. They weren't clever enough to pull that off. So we're only going to be on for the really good games in the afternoon window, which was a massive fail on their part.
Massive fail, but that's okay. We will give you what you need.
It is not okay. Nothing is okay.
But that's right. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it, folks. Just make sure.
No one else can talk basketball like us. That's it. I'm done with all this nice stuff. I'm done with it.
And listen, folks, I'm taking attendance. I'm also a teacher. Don't be late. 1 o'clock.
Saturday and Sunday. Screw church. Watch us on Betting Above the Rim.
We're the church.
The Lion's Share, presented by BetMGM.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight
you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
As you know, I often break from script and decide that we should start with something other than what's planned. And I think it's important that we get an update from down in South Florida from Carver High on the golf tournament. It looks like the actor Aaron Eckhart is in the lead at the Cognizant Brain Open.
Yeah, your boy Aaron Eckhart, who what was his best? Oh, Two-Face, right, in the Batman movies. Didn't he play Two-Face? That's right. That was Aaron Eckhart. And
That's a great
Austin
call.
Eck wrote 10 under right now as he's playing his last hole of the day. He is in the lead. There are a host of others within 3 shots. I mean, there's at least 13, 14 guys within 3 shots. Willie Cauley-Stein, Garrick Higo, Shane Lowry, Scotty, the Irish Bear, making a move. He's 2 back at 8 under. We have him, of course. We gave him out on Golf Wednesdays on C2C at a 50-1 number, so hopefully we can get him involved. And Cameron Forever Young, also a couple shots
Skins.
back.
Trojan Skins at 8 under.
That's Lisi's guy, David Skins. And he was 1,000-1 pre-tournament, David Skins. Don't worry, he ain't going to win. He won't be there on Sunday. You got nothing to worry about with that guy.
Okay.
He stinks.
But
he
you
will
got
not
a
be around.
50-1 burger on your boy the Bear?
On the Irish Bear, yeah. So that would be, as looking at the board right now, that would be the guy that we would like to see continue to make a charge on Saturday and Sunday. All right, let me give you some NFL. Of course, we have the Combine going on all week in Indianapolis throughout the weekend.
Look at your boy Hoy with a birdie. Whoa, Hoy, Chip the Hoy.
Look at that. They're starting to pour in here. Go ahead. We'll start with Caleb Williams, the quarterbacks. Got to talk this morning, Scotty, as they are going to throw in shorts tomorrow, at least most of them. Some are not going to throw, including Caleb Williams. We knew he wasn't going to throw. What we didn't know was he was going to be basically the first guy ever to show up at the Combine and say, yeah, I'm not letting you touch me either or look at any of my medicals or give me a physical or do anything like that.
Don't touch me.
So don't touch me. He's not involved. So let's give you a little montage of Caleb on playing for the Bears, which he potentially, or looks like most likely is going to do, and why he isn't doing the medicals or the throwing this weekend. Here's Caleb Williams.
The Bears was an 8-9 team last year, I believe, and 7-10. Sorry, and you know that's pretty good for a team that has the first pick, and they got a good defense. They got good players on offense.
That's not why they got the first pick, kid.
You know, it's pretty exciting. You know, if you could go into a situation like that. Yeah, so for the medical stuff, I'll be doing the medical stuff, just not here in Indy. I'll be doing it at the team interviews. You know, not 32 teams can draft me. There's only one of me. And so the teams that I go to for my visit, you know, those teams will have the medical, and that'll be it. I didn't feel the need to go out and throw. I played around 30-some games, I believe. Go ahead and go watch real live ball
you were
with
awful
me. And,
last year.
See how I am
Go
as a
watch
competitor.
the tape.
You were awful. You know what he did? He partied with all that money they gave him at USC.
Yep.
He won the Heisman, and then he never had another good game.
Look,
that's just the bottom line. And I cannot wait to see him freeze his onions off in Chicago and lose. Because you know what? Justin Fields was a badass in college, right? And he couldn't win there to save his ass. And I want to see this kid from Southern California go freeze his onions off and see how he does. And remember, the long litany of failed USC quarterbacks in the NFL. It's like they're bocce jinxed. So have fun. He acts like he's the greatest quarterback that ever lived, this kid. Boy, is he confident. I'll tell you, he's as cocky as they come. He thinks he's got it all figured out until he's on his ass, having somebody crush his face in.
Like, I've told you this a billion times. Like, I don't think any of this stuff is that important. I don't think it's important at all. At the end of the day, is it a big deal that he doesn't do medicals or he doesn't throw? I don't think so, but everyone else does it, right? Like, everyone else has done the medicals. They're all running around their day going, he's the first guy ever who showed up in Indy and not doing his medicals. Just what makes him good enough to be at that level where he's like, yeah, I don't need to do this. Everyone else does it. It's just kind of bizarre from that aspect that he, like you said, he feels that good about himself. He's like, yeah, I don't need to do what everyone else has done in the past. I'm that good. I don't need to do any of that. And you're right. You want to go watch the tape? His tape this year, it sucked. On that USC team. They weren't good. And he won the Heisman the year before that. It's all fine and good. This guy is not a slam dunk number 1 overall pick as a quarterback. He's not. He's not a slam dunk. He's not a Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck slam dunk number 1 overall pick.
Some people think May's better than him.
I think you could find people that think Jaden Daniels is better. You could find people that think May's better. There's definitely a lot of that out there.
Who played in all the big games? Penix.
Penix played in all the big games. That's for sure. You mentioned Drake May. Let's hear from him. He's actually been spending a lot of time with Scotty. Eli Manning, I guess not a bad mentor to have as you're trying to get ready for the NFL. Let's hear about Drake May's mentorship with him.
Yeah, Eli's, big fan. I think, Eli would probably say, he's probably seen me too much. I've been following around, and so it's always on Zooms. I think the biggest thing is just being a sponge, soaking it all in, and I don't have all the answers, and I don't know it all, just being up there with Eli. And like I said, David Moore's training with him down there in Alabama. He was his backup at Ole Miss, so just kind of the small world of connections and just trying to soak it all up.
And how was your time at Myers Park advice that Eli's giving you?
Yeah, Eli, just being myself. Just enjoy it. Don't be somebody I'm not. And just, at the end of the day, don't, give the NFL, too much, spotlight or credit. It's just, go out there and playing ball.
This kid's so nice, perfectly humble, and just this whole thing's crazy. I can't believe I'm hanging around Eli Manning. And the other guy sounds like I'm better than everybody, and I'm going to make a lot of money. And then we'll see how he does on his back. Let's just see, they got this guy as Christ. He's Joe Namath. He's Joe Namath coming out of Alabama the way they treat him. And I thought it was based off the Heisman year. And, I don't know anything at all. I know nothing. But I know this. We both said it, and I'll say it again. Last year, he was fat, slow, did nothing, lost. They sucked. They did nothing. In fact, the kid Rice that I had on my show at the Super Bowl, he was 10 times better than him the entire season, doing everything. Mm-hmm. He did all the work. While this kid was getting all the money and all the cheerleaders, I'm not buying his act. I'm not. I like kids that work. I like kids that work their ass off and want to be humble and learn and play and that work. That's it. And that guy to me looks like he's lazy. I don't care what anybody says, including his stupid father.
Drake May, of course, is the favorite to be the 2nd overall pick, which currently belongs, as we know, to the Washington Commanders. May is minus 130 to go there, Scotty. Plus 140 for Jalen Daniels to fall in that spot. We'll hear from in a moment. But it looks like May, as of right now on that odds board, would be Washington at number 2.
Well, you saw the list of people that is on that, and it certainly didn't include all the people that we've heard about that should be on it from others around here. All I know is, this kid can flat out play. I even heard my friend Merrill Hodge say that he's not talented. And Merrill needs some cognac because that kid can play on the field, out of the pocket, in the pocket. He makes plays. He throws touchdowns. He's creative. When he's in trouble, he makes plays. He has an arm. He does it all. He can run. He ran for tons of yards at North Carolina. This kid can do it all. And so can Daniels. And then they all say, oh, he's too small and he's this and that. I mean, this stuff, this draft stuff really is more painful than having to put up with me. It really is. I'm painful. And then the NFL draft is tenfold more painful than I am. I know I'm painful. My own family thinks I'm painful. Everyone around here thinks I'm painful too. But I'll tell you what, The most painful thing in the world is the NFL draft pundits. They're the most painful people on earth. People that think that going to this thing in Indianapolis makes you the end all of knowledge about football. You know what you need? You need a box of Krispy Kreme donuts and a can of beer. Shut up.
And
Shut
you got you got 6 more weeks of it too before we actually even get to the draft. So you got about 6 more weeks of this stuff. The Patriots have the 3rd pick. They plan on drafting a quarterback at number 3, and they want to bring in a veteran. They are finished with Mac Jones. What a revelation that is. All you had to do was watch. Jaden Daniels is the most likely guy to fall into that 3rd spot to New England. Here he is on potentially going to a rebuilding team like the Patriots.
I mean, I just feel wherever God puts me at, wherever I hear my name drafted, is the best situation for me. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna go to work, put my head down and work. I'll leave that up to the team with everything else. But obviously they seen something in me, so I'm forever grateful. Yeah, it'll be dope. Obviously, growing up and seeing what Tom Brady did there, 6 Super Bowls. That's tough to live up to, but it'll be dope to come in there and see the success they had and help them get back on that track.
I think the kids. I think he's a badass player, but I never knew until today. This is fascinating. God is in charge of the NFL draft as well. So he's going to place him where he needs to go. That God is in charge of the destination of certain players and not others. This is unbelievable. The breaking news here on Coast to Coast. What a revelation. I never knew. Is that like God and Jesus are in on Notre Dame football too? Is that kind of thing we got going now? That he's going to place him where he needs to be? Oh, man. All the glory.
Anything can happen. God does say that he's the favorite right now for that 3rd pick, plus 150. Drake May, 2-1. Marvin Harrison Jr., plus 275. That is the 3rd slot where the Patriots are right now. We will see how that goes for them going forward. Speaking of Marvin Harrison Jr., we had another first at the Combine today, Scotty. I told you Caleb Williams was the first to not do medicals. Allegedly, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the first, reportedly, to completely skip the media podium session this morning. He blew it off. Now, didn't we do a story last week or early this week that he wasn't going at all? I guess he decided to go and still not talk to everybody or still not run routes or still not do anything. This is another thing. Should have stayed home then. Just don't come at all. Well, why even do it?
I hope that he was actually with a escort in a hotel room till all hours and just slept right through it with her. I really do. I think it makes a better story.
That would be quite the story if that ended up being it. Of course, the Cardinals, are the favorites. They have the 4th pick. They're the favorites to get Harrison at minus 200. Patriots 375, Bears 450, Chargers, Commanders, everyone else 50-1. Or more. We know he's the first non-quarterback who's getting drafted. I mean, it's just that
he's
simple.
A lot.
Whether he talks to the media for 13 minutes or not in their little podium this morning, he's still going to be the first guy taken off the board that's not a quarterback.
Well, as we've seen, even at the Super Bowl, when you get all the media together to ask questions, most of them, at least 95% of them, are absolutely stupid.
Some do actually, yes. Some do come out that way, that's for sure. I have some more for you, NFL notes, and we'll do those after the top of the hour because, of course, we have to do this day in Carver High history when we come back. So we'll get that in next.
Absolutely. And you can't deny that the NFL media questions are stupid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We just watched the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Like the Minnesota Wild were down by 2 goals today. They were down by 3 goals, actually, today at one point. And they came back and won. Like teams like, the Edmonton Oilers and the Coyote game went back and forth. The NHL really, you could argue, really is the best sport for in-game betting, where you can pull the trigger on both teams.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
The Lakers lose by double digits last night on the road in Phoenix against the Suns. The Suns get their first victory following the All-Star break, winning by 10 in covering.
Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in that game. LeBron James played 37 minutes in a loss. This is the same thing. It's like repeating this over and over and over. Sure, do you want to win these basketball games? Yes, but you sort of say to yourself, all right, at what cost do we have?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's time for another exciting edition of Today in Carver High History.
It certainly is. Why don't we start in 1968 today? High winds blow off the Philadelphia Spectrum's roof, forcing the Flyers to play the final month of the NHL season on the road. Well, that doesn't seem very fair. Why don't we just get somebody on the roof? Patch it up. Let's go.
What a shame.
1969, Phil Esposito of the Bruins scores a goal and an assist against the Rangers to give him 99 points, breaking the then NHL record for most points in the season. God, did that get blown away a few times later. 1970, Bruins' Bobby Orr becomes the first defenseman in NHL history to score 25 goals in a season. That was during the Bruins' 3-1 win over the Blues. 1970, North Stars' Charlie Burns becomes the final player-coach in NHL history. North Stars beat the Leafs 8-0 that night. Look out. 85, Milwaukee businessman Herb Cole purchases the Bucks for $18 million. Giannis makes that a game now. 86, Peter Stastny becomes the second player in NHL history to score 100 points in each of his first 6 seasons. 88, Gretzky picks up an assist in the Oilers' 5-3 win over the Kings to move ahead of Gordie Howe as the NHL's all-time leader in assists. 93, George Steinbrenner reinstated as general partner of the team after he was banned because of his relationship with convicted gambler Howie Spira, the boss back in business in 1993 today. Pavel Bure, also in 93, scores twice to become the first player in Vancouver history to record 50 goals in a season. I love the Russian Rocket. He was my second favorite player as a kid behind La Fontaine. 96, Lenny Wilkins becomes the first coach in NBA history to reach 1,000 career wins. 97, Hector Camacho beat Sugar Ray in the 5th round in AC. Remember when they used to have fights in AC all the time?
Boardwalk
88,
Hall.
Pat Riley become the 5th head coach with 900 wins. Ron Francis scored a goal on his 38th birthday in 2001. Second player to score 50-plus points for 20 straight years. Trotz in 2003, most games with the team since their inception. Manfred suspended Chapman, and this day in 2016. There you go.
Unbelievable day.